Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to talk about the exam strategy for XAT 2018. The exam is 15 days from now, and we will be focused on how you should be utilizing next 15 days to ensure that you get the score which you are aiming to get into the Dream B school through XAT. Now, XAT is the last exam of the season, especially if we talk about the big exams, and it has some of the really very good institutes in it, with XLRI being among the star cluster of colleges, and then XIMB, GIM, SPJain, IMT, among many others. So it's very important for you to not take that lightly and ensure that you are scoring as high as possible in that. Now, before we move to the strategy part, let's understand that XAT is going online for the first time, and it is expected that it will be slightly easier as compared to previous years. Major reason being any exam which has gone online has turned easier, especially in the first edition of going online. And this is expected to remain the same when it comes to XAT. And hence, you need not worry a lot about the difficulty level. It will surely be not higher than those of previous years. Now, some of you have been asking questions that if there would be a sectional time limit or can you browse through sections or not. So, to clarify your query, there is going to be no sectional time limit in XAT. There will be only one overall time limit of 170 minutes. You can browse through sections. So this is how more or less you are going to see the user interface of that examination, where you will be seeing sections at the top. You can click on the tab of the respective section to switch. You can mark for review, next, clear response, save and next. Obviously the pause test option may not be there. So this is just to give you an idea of how the screen may look like. You may even jump from question number 1 to directly question number 24 if you just want that from the right hand side bar. And that has made it clear on their official website that the examination pattern is going to remain same as that of last year. That means that you will be getting 24 questions in verbal, 21 in decision making, and 27 in quant DI, making a total of 72 questions. The marking scheme is slightly different when it comes to XAT. Here, you get 1 mark for correct answer, 0.25 for negative, but more importantly, you get 0.05 for any unattempted answer from 13th unattempted answer onwards. That means for first 12 unattempted answers, you don't get any negative, but from 13th unattempted answer, you get negative. But that negative is only 0.05. It is only 0.05. It is not a very high number. And if you would do some maths, you will see that what negative you fetch for one incorrect answer, that negative you fetch for 5 unattempted answers. And hence, anybody out there who has been asking you to attempt high, asking you to attempt at least 60 questions is very wrong. You should not be over attempting in that. You should not be over attempting. Over attempting will fetch you negative of 0.25 per incorrect answer. So you can afford to have 5 unattempted answers vis-a-vis more than one incorrect answer, and hence to ensure that you are not losing out your marks because of this web of tricky marking scheme, take that as a normal marking scheme. Do not be bothered about negative, which is coming from unattempted answers, and take the paper at its merit. Attempt only those questions which you are sure of, and leave any question unattempted which you would have otherwise left in the exam if there was no negative for unattempted answer. And hence, your strategy should be focusing on high accuracy, not over attempting just because unattempted answers more than 12 will fetch you some negative. Remember, the quantum of that negative is very small as compared to the quantum of negative which an incorrect answer is going to fetch you. Now, another question which most of you ask is, what score to target for XLRI? Now, as per past trends, you will see that the sectional cutoff for decision making for both HRM and VM courses at XLRI has been 80 percentile. Now 80 percentile, if I go by the past trends, you can achieve by 7 to 7.5 marks. When it comes to verbal, cutoff for HRM is 90 percentile, while that for BM is 80 percentile, the sectional cutoff for verbal. And as per past trends, 7 to 8 marks will ensure that you are clearing this cutoff. Now, when it comes to quant, BM course for XLRI has a higher cutoff as compared to the quant cutoff for HRM course. For BM, quant cutoff is 90 percentile, while for HRM it is 70 percentile. 7 to 7.5 marks in quant section would be safe for HRM, while 9 to 11 would be safe for BM. Now there is another problem which most of you face, that you think that you are slightly weak in quant. So how do you tackle that? What should be the target score in case you are weak in quant? Now if you are weak in quant and say you are targeting HRM or even BM, your baseline aim in quant section should be just to clear the cutoff. And then you can maximize your score through verbal and decision making sections. And hence, to maximize your score, your aim should be to get 12 plus marks in decision making and 13 plus marks in verbal. If you can do that, just by clearing the cutoff for respective courses, you would be able to get the call which you are looking for. Now, XIMB, while the overall cutoff for XIMB is usually 93 to 94 percentile for the flagship BM course, the sectional cutoff at XIMB is very low. So for example, for BM it is just 75 percentile in all the three sections. For HRM it is just 60 percentile for every section. For rural management course at XIMB it is only 50 percentile. And hence sectional cutoff is not a big issue when it comes to XIMB. Your aim for XIMB in terms of strategy should be to cross the barrier of 93 to 94 percentile in case you are aiming for business management course at XIMB. In case you are looking for HRM, you should be very safe the moment you reach 87 plus bracket in terms of percentile. For rural management, it could be somewhere between 75 to 80 the cutoff, and 80 plus would be a very safe score to get a call from rural management course of XIMB. And hence, for XIMB, you need not worry a lot about sectional cutoffs. Just focus on increasing your overall score the more. Now, apart from XLRI and XIMB, some of the other top institutes which accept your XAT score, they include SPJain, and the cutoff for SPJain through XAT is same as its cutoff through CAT, especially for profile-based calls. So what the score which you see here is for profile-based calls, which is 85 percentile overall with 70 sectionals. In terms of profile plus score-based calls, this cutoff could be around 96 to 97 percentile overall, with sectionals being around 80. Apart from SPJain, Goa Institute of Management accepts that score. If I exclude SPJain, then it's the third best institute which accepts that score, and usually they give weightage to both your academic and work profile, and usually the overall cutoff will hover around 85 percentile with no specifics of sectional cutoff. Apart from GIM, you'll have IMT Ghaziabad accepting that score, and the cutoff would be usually around 90 percentile with no sectional cutoff. IMT Nagpur and Hyderabad campuses having that cutoff around 70 percentile, Tapmi Manipal 80 percentile, and there are many more institutes which accept that score. And the link which you see on your screen right now is what you can visit to check out all the XAT colleges and their cutoff. If you are not able to type this link, just Google MBA colleges accepting XAT score and couple it with the word Career Anna, and you will get the link. So just Google Career Anna MBA colleges accepting XAT score and cutoff, and you will get this link. And just open it and check out the list of and all the colleges, all the major colleges which are accepting XAT score along with their cutoffs. Now, what you see right now on your screen is the score versus percentile mapping. This is just based on the past trends, and it may move 5% plus or minus this year based on the difficulty level of the exam. But this is how the trends are usually. In verbal ability section, to score 80 percentile, you just need 7.5 to 8 marks, as I have told earlier as well. Similarly, in decision making, 8 to 8.5 is good enough, and in quant, 9 to 11 for 90 percentile is good enough. Now, talking about the 99 plus percentile bracket at the sectional score level, the moment you get into 15 plus bracket in verbal ability, you are reaching that 99 plus bracket. The moment you get 13 to 14 plus in decision making section, you are reaching that 99 percentile level, and the moment you reach 16 plus in quant, you are reaching that 99 percentile. Now remember, we all say that XAT has the toughest quant, but here you see highest marks being needed for quant only, even for a 99 percentile. The reason for that is quant as a section has the highest weightage in the exam across all the three sections, and hence you need to score more in quant because overall marks of quant are more. That does not mean that quant is going to be a cakewalk. In fact, quant is relatively the toughest section of XAT, and hence for people who are weaker in quant, it's very important that you focus on verbal ability and decision making more to maximize your score. Because if you suffered in quant of CAT or quant of some of the other exams like IFT or NMAT, take my words that quant of XAT is going to be much more tougher. As far as overall score versus percentile mapping goes, 37 plus will take you to 98 plus bracket. 31 to 33 is what you need for getting into the bracket of 92 to 94, and that is where the cutoff for XLRI and XIMB would be. So the moment you cross 33-34 mark, you are safe for the overall cutoff of both XLRI and XIMB. What you need for XLRI is clearing your sectional cutoffs. So ensure that you are clearing your sectional cutoffs with a strong focus. Now, I encounter a lot of people who say that we are weak in quant. What should be my strategy to score high in XAT? So let's give a couple of minutes to those who are weak in quant, that how can they achieve 99 percentile in XAT and what should be their ideal time distribution. Now remember that XAT is giving you 170 minutes for just 72 questions. And obviously you are not supposed to do all 72 questions. If I'm saying that 37 marks or 38 marks are going to take you to 99 plus bracket, that means even if you attempt only around 45 to 50 questions, you are very well placed. So even if I take say 50, you have approximately 3.5 minutes for one question. Now let us try to distribute this time of 170 minutes based on your stronger and weaker section. If you are weaker in quant, your aim in quant is only to clear the cutoff, that is 8 to 10 marks. And hence, you should be spending around 70 minutes to get these 10 marks. Now for these 10 marks, if I assume that you are going to attempt around 15 questions with almost 90 to 100% accuracy, you have more than 4 minutes per question. So maintaining accuracy should not be a problem. Preventing yourself from over attempting should be your aim number one. And aim number two should be to wisely select those 15 questions which you are going to attempt in 70 minutes to be able to get 8 to 10 marks easily. Now, how do I maximize my score? If I have just cleared the cutoff of quant, then obviously I need the help of decision making and verbal ability to maximize my score. And hence, your aim in decision making section should be to get 14 to 16 marks, and similarly in verbal ability, you should be looking out for another 14 to 16 marks. If you have mastered decision making over last 1 week and you are ready to give next 2 weeks to decision making, trust me, 14 to 16 is not a big deal when it comes to decision making section. We have been witnessing at least more than 10 students every year since last 3 years from our XAT decision making course who have been scoring 99.2 plus percentile in decision making section just with 2 weeks of preparation with our course, which we have specially designed with XLRI students and alumni. So if you are the part of that course, 99.2 plus in decision making is what you should be looking at. Ideal time spent for decision making section is 45 minutes and 55 minutes for verbal ability. Now, what could be the game-changing topics for you? If you are weak in quant, I will not at all suggest you to get into geometry, trigonometry, etc. kind of topics because they are just going to waste your time. The topics from quant which you should be focusing should be data interpretation, which includes not only tables, line graph, pie chart, but grids and histograms as well. This is something which you can very easily master with 1 day of practice. Then second area in quant which you should be focusing on if you are weak in quant is arithmetic. Topics like time, speed and distance, time and work, profit and loss. These three are the major topics when it comes to XAT. And the third topic which you should be focusing from quant section perspective is your set theory. These are the three areas which you should be focusing on if you are weaker in quant. And these three together will ensure that you are clearing the cutoff of 8 to 10 marks. Second is definitely the decision making part, which we will get into detail as we move ahead in this session. As far as verbal ability goes, you should be focusing on topics like reading comprehension, grammar, critical reasoning, fill in the blanks. When I say grammar, I mean active passive voice, prepositions, direct, indirect. These are some of the topics which XAT loves to give you. And remember one more thing. In XAT, reading comprehension may comprise of a passage or a poem. So if verbal is your strong area, if verbal is the section apart from decision making which you are relying to maximize your score, ensure that you are solving or practicing certain passages which are not having long essays but have poems. For this, the mocks which you are taking with us would help you. So all of you who are taking XAT mocks with us should be very familiar with this kind of a stuff, or you should be solving past XAT papers because you will encounter such poem based RCs in past XAT papers as well. Now, though around 80% of the people I meet, they say that they are weak in quant, but there are 20% of the people I meet who say that they are strong in quant but weak in verbal. So here let us have a look that if you are weak in verbal but strong in quant, how do you manage your time distribution and what are the game changing topics for you? In case you are strong in quant and DI, your aim should be to get 14 to 17 marks in quant, and you should be doing that in just 65 minutes. Second, you should be aiming for another 14 to 17 marks in decision making with time distribution of 50 minutes. While in verbal ability, just clear the sectional cutoff and 8 to 10 marks should be good for that, and you can spend relatively more time over here and give good 55 minutes to verbal ability section to ensure that those 8 to 10 marks which you are getting, they are rock solid. You are not going to lose them. And to get 8 to 10 marks, attempt around 15 to 16 questions out of 24. From verbal perspective, since you are weaker in verbal, I will not suggest you to focus a lot on poem based RCs. Either you solve a normal long passage based RC or focus on areas like grammar and fill the blanks to get these 8 to 10 marks. Grammar, fill in the blanks coupled with 1 or 2 RCs will ensure that you are clearing the cutoff of 8 to 10. You don't need to attempt all RCs and completely ignore poem based RCs if you are weaker in verbal. Trust me, they are way tougher than usual RCs. Then apart from decision making, which you surely need to focus on, topics in quant which you should be focusing apart from data interpretation, arithmetic and set theory are geometry and trigonometry along with functions and graphs. So geometry, trigonometry, functions and graphs, their hybrid questions, their standalone questions is what you should be very confident at to get a good score. And hence, in your game changing topics, you have a special place for geometry, trigonometry, functions, and graphs if you are strong in quant. For those who are weak in quant, please ignore geometry, trigonometry, functions, and graphs. What should be your mock frequency? We are 15 days from the exam. So from now till December 30th, you should be taking one full length mock every 2 days for that. And the day which comes as a gap in between, take one DM sectional test till December 30th. Study decision making as much as you can. Analyze the mocks which you are taking as much as you can. Take past papers of last 3 years only and solve them. Why I say only the last 3 years? Because the pattern of XAT has been changing radically. The decision making which comes today, it's not even 10% of what used to come 4 years back, 5 years back. It's no more just ethical dilemma questions or business cases, but you get questions around decision tree, you get awkward database decision making, you get conditional probability based decision making. They've added so much variety. What you felt in logical DI section of CAT, you may get a similar kind of a feel in decision making of XAT today. And hence, I always say, there is no good book in market to practice decision making for XAT. The best way to prepare for decision making is past XAT papers of last 3 years and a good decision making course from market. A good decision making course. You can either practice decision making through XAT full length mocks, which obviously you will be doing because full length mocks are a must to do thing, and you should be attempting at least 10 XAT mocks in next 15 days. And if you are facing difficulty in decision making part, then you should be going for some course. If your offline coaching institute has not taught you decision making, then you should be going for a decision making course which teaches you all these different concepts, be it ethical dilemma, decision tree, business cases, awkward database, decision making, conditional probability. And that is where I believe that the decision making course which we run in collaboration with XLRI students and alumni is the best in the market. We have seen we have produced highest number of 99.2 plus percentilers in decision making section, which is even higher than what CL and Timer produced. So if you are looking for a dedicated decision making preparation, I would suggest you to check out our course and the demo over there. And coming back to the strategy part, one full length mock every alternate day till December 30th, and post that take one full length mock every day till the penultimate day of the exam. One day before the exam is a rest day. You should not be taking any mock. Probably just revise some important formula, shortcuts, etc. and relax for last 12 hours before the exam. With this, we come to the end of the session. I will be taking up part 2 of XAT, that is essay writing and GK, in the next video, which is lined up for tomorrow. In that, we will be talking about the tips, topics, probable topics for XAT essay, and how to prepare for GK. Just to let you all know, remember that GK score is not considered for percentile calculation in XAT. GK score only comes into picture during XLRI personal interview, and it should not be just negative or 0. If you are some positive marks, you are all good. We will get into the details of GK in the next video, and for now we'll end this session, and I request all of you to check out us on Facebook page, Facebook group, YouTube channel, Twitter. All the links are there in front of you. All these things will help you to stay tuned with us and stay updated with all the latest MBA information, info about our course launches, our collaboration with a lot of management institutes, certificate courses, and lot more. And yes, if you feel that this video did give you some insights and cleared some air around what topics to focus on, how to prepare in next 15 days, please share it with your friends by clicking on the icon you may be seeing on the right hand side top. So please do share it on Facebook, tweet it, and let all your friends know about how to prepare for XAT with 15 days in